Hola a todos! For your GCSE Spanish speaking exam, you need to be able to describe a photo, or two if you're doing AQA. So let me show you the framework you should use when describing a photo to make sure you include enough information. So for Edexcel, you have a choice of two colored photos, and you need to pick one to describe for at least or between 2 and 2.5 minutes a higher tier, or 1.5 and 2 minutes for foundation tier. And then for AQA, you get two black and white photos, and you need to say at least one thing about each of those, talking for about 1.5 minutes at higher tier and 1 minute at foundation tier. This part of the exam is worth 5 marks for AQA and 8 marks for Edexcel. Okay, so I've got a set of 4 photos here. Let's go through each one and use the acronym PALMA to help us write a detailed description. So the P stands for physical description in PALMA, so we're describing physically what and who do we see in the photo. Every photo is going to have some people in there. So we can say something like a sentence started like en la foto. So en la foto puedo ver, in the photo I can see, or en la foto hay, there is or there are. Just remember, foto is a feminine noun, even though it ends in a, it's la foto. So I could say, for example, X number of personas, whether that's cinco or seis personas, or dos, tres, etc. We have a vocabulary like un hombre, una mujer, a man, a woman. You might describe like appearance, so like height and age and that sort of thing. For example, so soy is I am, I could say es, maybe alto, he or she is tall. So we're describing physically who and what we see in the photo. Then the A is for action, what's happening and or what are the people in the photo doing. Here we're going to use our present continuous tense. So for example, estoy hablando, I am talking. That is our present continuous tense. We have estar plus the gerund, that word ing that ends in either ando or yendo in Spanish. So for example, they're smiling, they're talking, they're running, etc. Location is the L here. So location, very simply, where are they? Here we're going to use the verb estar yet again to describe something temporary. So because their location is always going to change, it's not a permanent thing. We're going to use estar to describe it. For example, está, he or she is in, está en la oficina. He or she is in the office, maybe, or the house, or a library, any sort of place of any location, right? A gym, a park, etc. And we're going to see those in the photos just below. Then M is for mood. Are they happy? Are they sad? Words like feliz for happy, triste for sad. And again, we're going to use our verb, our key verb here, estar, because it's obviously likely to change. We use estar for more temporary conditions compared to ser, which is more for more permanent things like your height, your appearance. It's less likely to change. So estar, just be careful with feliz. If we make it plural, we say something like felices, and that's how we make it plural. So están felices, they are plural. The adjective has to agree with the noun. If it's more than one person, it has to be plural. Then the A at the bottom there is for atmosphere. Mainly, I'm going to just describe it as the weather. So what is the weather like? Is it sunny? Is it cold, etc.? Not in all of the photos will you necessarily be able to see the weather. You can make it up slightly. You can maybe say because they're smiling, it's good weather, or because we can see the window, it might be good weather, bad weather, etc. It doesn't have to be a perfect description. It's not an eye test. You can be loose with your description as long as it's reasonable and you're not saying, for example, there's elephant, it's okay. So, for example, weather, good. So, vocabulary, get in there, the verb hacer, talking about weather. For example, hace buen tiempo. Good. So, that is the general structure we're going to use. We're going to aim for about 5 sentences. For example, in some examples, you might need to talk for a bit longer, so you say a bit more. Double check your mark scheme to see sort of how much you have to say, but the more is always better. We've got 4 photos here. Let's do the first one here. So I can see 3 people. So let's start off with that. Let's write it in pink. So I could say I, get straight in there. I, tres personas. Full stop. Veo, I see. Veo un hombre que lleva. So un hombre that wears. Un hombre que lleva a shirt, which is una camisa. I'm going to describe the color of the shirt. I'm going to say una camisa azul. I'm not worrying about exact colors. Just try and be quick with this. So veo un hombre que lleva una camisa azul y dos mujeres, two women, dos mujeres con el pelo with the hair shorts. Okay, I can see a laptop and a table. So también, let's have a good connective in there. También veo, or I can say puedo ver, I can see. También puedo ver. So I can plus the infinitive, I can see una mesa y un ordenador portátil. I'm going to say a laptop, un ordenador portátil. I think the accent goes there. Muy bien. That sort of covers our physical description. You could go in more detail about the beard and the sort of facial hair, etc., but that's going to be enough for physical description. Then action. What are they doing? Pienso que. We can use opinion phrases here. Why not? Pienso que. El hombre. Oops. I'm going to say the man is using the laptop. Let's think about vocabulary that we know. El hombre está usando su ordenador. Y las mujeres, and the women, y las mujeres, they are watching or viewing, mirando. Yeah, let's use mirando if I'm going to say looking. Ver is more to watch or to see. I was going to say viendo, but that's more like to watch the TV, for example. But to look at is mirando. Están mirando a la pantalla, at the screen. Good. That covers action. Let's actually look at the photo once again. Next is going to be our location. So I'm going to say they're in an office and maybe next to the window. So están, there's more than one person. They are, all three of them. Están en una oficina. Maybe small, pequeña. Cerca, next to cerca de la ventana. Now that I've mentioned the window, it makes a bit more sense to talk about the weather. So cerca de is near to, so cerca de la ventana is the window. Ventana, I think. Good. Let's now skip on to atmosphere and go back to weather. Diría que, a good sentence starter, I would say that. Diría que hace sol y las mujeres, maybe specifically the women here, las mujeres, they are smiling. Están, smiling is sonriendo. Full stop. And lastly, I could say, además, me parece que, it seems to me that, so although, or sorry, además is additionally, isn't it? Additionally, me parece que, it seems to me that the man, el hombre, está feliz, is happy. There, nice and sort of quick there, thinking about using our preparation time wisely and writing quickly, and describing the photo. It's not a perfect description. It doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. We're getting words on the page, vocab that we know, and good sentence starters. So that's a really good answer there. Let's do the next one and try and vary up my vocabulary. So I'm not saying the same thing for each of these pictures, but we've got a nice different photo here with a basketball court. So I can first say, veo tres jóvenes, maybe young people, tres jóvenes, en una cancha de baloncesto, a basketball court, en una cancha, spelled with a CH, cancha, or I could say pista, which also sort of means a court as well. So en una pista o cancha de baloncesto, basketball, baloncesto. Full stop. Let's describe let's describe the man in the middle, sorry. I could say el hombre, and you could say en el centro, in the center, el hombre en el centro, lleva, does he have glasses? I was going to say lleva gafas, no. I could say lleva, or I could say tiene, has a mustache. Tiene, and bigote is the word for mustache, I think. Tiene bigote, y creo que tiene maybe 20 años. I think that he's 20 years old. Creo que tiene 20 años. When you say it in the exam, obviously you can write 20 here, but you're making sure you're saying 20 in Spanish, the Spanish number 20. Good. Then we can go on to action, what they're doing. So los chicos or chicas. Chicos is gender neutral, right? It's saying like boys and girls, a group to make a mixed group. Los chicos están jugando. They are playing. Están jugando al baloncesto. Y los tres, all three, los tres, I could say llevan zapatos blancos. Yeah, sure, white shoes. Why not? Zapatos is the word for like shoes. Zapatos blancos. So I'm mixing in clothing description. It doesn't have to be a perfect order of physical description, action, location. You can mix them all in, can't you? So I've mentioned there the clothing, physically describing he's wearing, or they are wearing, I should say, white shoes. I've mentioned location early on, which is okay, which does the trick. Let's go on to atmosphere, because obviously this is an outside photo. So I could say, hace buen tiempo. It's, again, good weather. Y está despejado. It is clear. So of clear skies, we use that word despejado. Está despejado, full stop. No veo nubes en el cielo, which is both word sentence, but I don't see skies, not skies. I don't see clouds in the sky. No veo nubes en el cielo. Why not? And I could say, yeah, let's leave it there. I could, for example, mention the basketball, so I could say veo una pelota naranja. I see a ball. Una pelota is like a ball that you use in games. Naranja y negro. That should be negra, shouldn't it? Because pelota is feminine. Good. So this picture might be slightly harder to describe, but again, I'm going to leave it there. I think that's enough. Next, we've got lots more people in the sort of canteen atmosphere, I would say. It may be in a cafe. So I could say, veo muchas personas. Muchas personas. Be careful if you're going to say people, using the word gente, we keep it singular. Veo mucha gente. Gente is always singular. We never say gentes, ending in S. So singular, mucha gente, and that means more than one person. That means many people. So veo mucha gente en un cafe. I think it's masculine. En un cafe. Full stop. Al fondo is how we say in the background. So al fondo, in the background. Un hombre, I could try and describe maybe this man here. So I could say, hay un hombre delgado, maybe sort of slim or skinny, delgado, who wears, que lleva, una camiseta, this time a t-shirt. So the sort of the informal shirt or t-shirt is camiseta versus camisa, which is your formal shirt. So lleva una camiseta blanca con mangas is your sleeves, mangas cortas, short sleeves. I think that's correct. Good. I could say, talking about the three people in the front, so a la derecha or a la izquierda is on the left. A la izquierda hay un grupo de, is it three girls or three boys, or is it mixed gender? It's three girls. So I could say, hay un grupo de tres chicas. Hay un grupo de tres chicas. What are they doing? They are talking. Que están hablando. Or I could say maybe chateando, chatting. I can say están hablando. I could say, describe the cafe. So el café está, it's busy. It's quite concurrida is how we say, like, crowded. I should say concurrido. I believe cafe masculine. I'm not sure, to be fair. But it's not a big mistake if I get it wrong anyway. I can say el café está concurrido. Y hay muchas, maybe mesas, tables. Okay, let's think about mood. So I could describe the girl in the middle. So la mujer, or the woman. La mujer en el centro. La mujer en el centro, I could say, is smiling. Está, or I could say laughing. We haven't used that word yet. Laughing is riendo. So está riendo. Y tiene, I could say, un vaso, a sort of cup, un vaso en su mano. This is one way of saying having something in their hand. Tiene, item, in his or her hand. En su mano. Mano is a feminine noun, even though it ends in o. It's la mano. It's a feminine noun. It means the hand. And that there is, again, a good answer there. Okay. You can mention, again, hair color. This is quite a good photo. Lots of things. You can mention all the people in the background. Al fondo is how we say in the background. Cool. There's one more photo here. I'm going to let you guys try and answer this, or try and describe this photo in the comments below, and I will mark all of your answers for you. Just a piece of vocabulary. This is una mapa. Think about how we say having something in their hand, because that is a map, una mapa. Muy bien, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that all makes sense for describing photos. This is a small but important part of your speaking exam. There's lots of other parts as well. So check out my other speaking videos for GCSE on this channel, A Star Spanish. Vale, subscribe for more videos and adios!